Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 27 September 2025. So before getting started I want to make a small announcement guys. So from tomorrow onwards there is vacation for Dasra. Nothing but we are giving around 1 week of holidays for the students of institute. So from tomorrow onwards there will be no like this kind of presentation of Hindu analysis. I will be recording in my laptop and I will be posting that guys. So just be to adjust for 1 week and we are going to continue with the same format from Monday onwards. Okay. Yeah, now let us see the first article. Look at the title guys. A balanced approach on firecrackers needed, says Supreme Court. So what is the keyword of this article? So it is talking about something related to firecrackers. And Supreme Court is saying that we have to come up with a balanced approach. So why we need to have a balanced approach? So what is the issue with this firecrackers in India? Yes, pollution. So this article is talking about firecrackers. And from which subject we can say this guys? It may cause pollution. So we can say this from environment. GS paper 3 from environment and ecology. Apart from that, so it creating lots of livelihood, especially in Shivakasi region of Tamil Nadu. So we can take from GS paper 3 under economy point of view. And apart from that, so burning of firecrackers, it is coming as a tradition in our society. Yes. Yeah. So we can take it from GS1 under society point of view. And you have to see like whenever we are going for blanket ban of these firecrackers, it will be hurting emotions of the people and may also create some mental issues in the people. So normally what is this festival of Diwali? Diwali is like festival of light, but we convert it into festival of sounds, festival of pollution, festival of crackers. If suddenly if Supreme Court is completely banning this kind of crackers, means obviously it will be hurting the sentiments of the people. So we have to see from ethics point of view, like, is it ethically correct? So from all these subjects point of view, we can see this article guys. And here you have to see what are the dimensions you have to see. So first one here is which regions of country produces this firecrackers, or you have to see in which states huge production of firecrackers seen in India. That is the first thing. And next one is you have to see what are the issues of this bursting of firecrackers. And next you have to see chemicals which are used in these firecrackers. So if you burst these firecrackers, like we can say different colors, like sometimes blue color, pink color, green color, gold color, right? So here you have to see certain chemicals will give certain colors. So you have to see which are the chemicals normally used and which colors they will release in the environment. And next you have to see what are the impacts of that so and so chemical. For example, we can use potassium, we can use nitrite. So you have to see like which chemical is giving which color and what is the environmental impact. And next, nowadays we are going for this green crackers. So what are these green crackers? Already I think I gave a mains question regarding this earlier. So here we have three types of green crackers: Safal, Safar and Swal. So you have to see what are those green crackers. And here also we will be using chemicals. Without using chemicals, there will be no sparkles, there will be no sound, everything. But comparatively, compared to that of the traditional kind of bombs or there is traditional kind of firecrackers that we are using, they'll release more sound and as well as more pollution. But here while we are using these green crackers, so we can control that to some extent. And here which are the chemicals we are using? Okay, are there any alternatives for this chemicals which are causing pollution in our government? You have to see that. And next, very important, what is the Supreme Court judgment recently? And you have to see the present context of this article. So you have to see all these areas regarding this firecrackers. It is very important. And regarding this firecrackers, one thing we can see in the news is there will be blast in firecracker industries, especially in Tamil Nadu. So in the recent past, we saw blast in this firecracker industries. So that will comes under disaster management again. So you have to see what are the reasons why this accidents in this firecracker industries happens, and what are the reasons behind it, and what are the steps that we can take to control that. All these things are very, very important. So here we can cover around 5 subjects from this one article, guys. So in this way you have to interlink anything. So if you are having this knowledge of interlinking, or if you are improving your capability of interlinking, then you can write multidimensional answer that will helps you to clear your exam. Okay. So now let us see the context. So this article is saying that Supreme Court in a bench said issued an order addressing the ongoing ban on firecracker manufacturing in Delhi NCR region. So recently Supreme Court came up with one judgment like complete ban of manufacturing of this firecracker industries in this Delhi region. Why? Because already Delhi is having this problem of air pollution, and if you're going for bursting of these crackers in this festive season, now we have Dasra, Diwali, Christmas, New Year. So if you are bursting these crackers in this festive season, obviously it will lead to further more deterioration of air quality. So what happens if there is bad air quality? There will be health problems, and even formation of fog happens in the morning times. So because of that, what happened? Again, there is no visibility, loss of life because of increased accidents. And even that air will be not supporting for the life there, especially elderly people and newborn children. So they will be getting lots of health related issues. And even we saw one article like because of this increasing of air pollution, it is also decreasing the lifespan, especially people who are living in this metropolitan cities where there is a huge pollution, the decreasing of life by 5 years, and in normal areas there is decreasing by 3 years. So like that, what are the reports that we are studying? So try to interconnect wherever it is possible. Okay. So here if you see the details which are given in this article, it is saying that the order which mainly providing certain interim relief to firecracker industry, and even they are focusing on especially pollution control. So they want to impose pollution controls, along with that they want to give certain relief for this firecracker industry. That means they are allowing certain firecracker industries to produce these firecrackers, and they are coming up with some permitted activities in this NCR region. So certified manufacturers who are having this valid approvals from NEERI and as well as PESO. Why this PESO? PESO is the organization which will be control this firecracker industries in country. So now PESO and if NEERI is giving approval for certain manufacturers, they can go for production of green crackers. They are not talking about here traditional crackers. So they can go for production of green crackers. So because of this, they are trying to provide certain relief for this cracker industries now in Delhi region. And next one is they are also going to control this. How? So they are coming with prohibitions on sale, storage and use of any firecrackers remain banned in NCR until further orders. So manufacturers has to submit an undertaking to court affirming local sales. So actually whatever they are manufacturing in Delhi, so they have to sell now outside the Delhi region. So there should be no local sales. Okay, so in this way, they are giving certain what relief for the manufacturing industry. You can manufacture, but don't sell here. So find out the markets outside Delhi region. And that too, they have to produce only green crackers which are having less amount of chemicals, which will produce less sound and less chaos in the atmosphere or environment. And what will be the impact of this? So we can maintain certain air quality, right? So compared to the traditional crackers, this green crackers, they'll produce less pollution into air. So we can control air quality by this green crackers now. And we can also reduce overall pollution footprint. And even whenever we are producing only green crackers, obviously we can bring change in the people to buy this green crackers, so that we can focus on eco-friendly formulations, so that we can attain our target of carbon neutrality or net zero by 2070. What is this carbon neutrality or net zero? Amount of carbon dioxide released is equal to amount of carbon dioxide absorbed. So we can achieve this. And next one is we can provide some temporary revival for around 50,000 plus NCR units which are focusing on cracker production. And even we can preserve seasonal jobs. Actually, this people who are working in this cracker industry will be getting seasonal jobs only. They will be not getting 365 days, 24 by 7 jobs, right? So we can protect this seasonal jobs and we can provide certain supply chains, and even we can boost benefits of this. We can increase the profits for this cracker industries, especially from this Sivakasi region of Tamil Nadu. And next one here is we can also control public health because we are reducing pollutions, or like we can decrease this particulate matter in our air that we breathe. So because of this, we can improve obviously the health, and we can also decrease this respiratory related disorders in elderly and as well as children because they are more susceptible. And especially 20 percentage of patients visits will be increased in this Delhi region because of this Diwali pollution. We can cut that. And this one here is we can also come up with, when we are coming up with completely ban on these firecrackers, the chemicals, the raw materials which we are using. So from that area point of view also, that economy will be getting affected. So we can give certain relief not only for this firecracker industries, even mining, plastic, other sectors as well. Okay, see this article guys, second article. New farming technology holds potential to stop desertification. So very important advancement in agriculture arena guys. So this article title is saying that we are coming up with a new farming technology, and this technology will be helpful for stopping of desertification. So what is the meaning of desertification guys? Increasing of desert land. So how the deserts will form? What is the main feature of desert? So which sand we can see here? Sorry, which soil we can see? We can see mostly sand, sandy soil, right? Okay. So will that sandy soil helpful for doing of agriculture? No, right? Then what we have to do? How we can stop this desertification? Come on, think and tell me. So what is the problem across the world? Increasing or spread of desertification, right? Okay, desertification is nothing but degradation of productive dry lands into barren desert-like areas due to human activities and climate change. So what happens in these deserts? There will be no vegetation, the soil will become degraded, it is not having proper fertility, and we can't go for even growing of agriculture or any kinds of crops. Okay, so that what are the main reasons here? The main reasons is because of human activities. Wherever human go, we have that much capability. Like we can destroy everything on this planet Earth, right? So that is one evidence, that is the increasing of desertification. And next one is because of climate change. So if you are getting enough water, so we can go for growing of something. If there is no rainfall, no enough water, whenever there is depletion of groundwater levels, then what happen? Can we go for growing of crops? No. So actually, whenever there is a spreading of desertification, is that good? No. Why? Because we can't produce the food. So that what happened? Can we ensure food security? Especially if you take India. So India is the largest populous country in the world. So if you're not producing enough food, then what happened? Malnutrition, hunger-related deaths, starvation, loss of livelihood of people, because our economy is called as primary economy or agriculture economy. If there is increasing of deserts, if there is spreading of this third desert like anything, can we go for getting of economy from this agriculture? No. And not only that, even human displacement can happen like that. So because of this, combating of desertification is very important. So actually, how we are controlling this desertification? How we are controlling? Okay, so India is taking lot of steps to control this desertification. So first one is, as you all know, MG Narega program. So through this MG Narega, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, government is providing employment opportunities, 100 days of guaranteed employment for people in rural areas. So they are going for planting of trees. There is nothing but reforestation. Especially in this Telangana state, government came up with one program. Do you know this? Planting of trees. Haritaharam. So that name of that scheme is Haritaharam. And in that same way, you have to see in your state which kind of schemes they came up. And apart from that, government is going for restoration of water bodies In Hyderabad, we have this mission called as Mission Hydra. I don't know about your state. Next. Yes, Mission Bhagirath. Next. And even Mission Kakatiya in Telangana state, where they are going for restoration of earlier lakes, ponds, etc. Next. And even, do you know this cloud seeding phenomena? Especially in desert areas, to get this rainfall, we are using this cloud seeding. Cloud seeding. Do you know this cloud seeding? No? Okay, I'll show the image itself. Artificial rain, very good. Actually, this is question in 2025 prelims. Cloud seeding. Okay. So here, cloud seeding is nothing but we can use aircraft. So by using aircraft, here we'll fill certain things with some chemicals called as normally silver iodide, potassium iodide, and dry ice. We'll use these three chemicals, one of these three chemicals, and we'll spray in our atmosphere. So normally these aeroplanes will fly in which area or which layer of atmosphere? We have different layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, thermosphere. In which layer this aeroplanes will fly? In stratosphere. So actually in this upper layer of troposphere itself, we'll go for spreading of this chemicals, because clouds and clouds phenomena will be happens in this troposphere. Stratosphere is free of clouds, so because of this aeroplanes will fly in this. So we need to make the clouds. So we'll be releasing these chemicals in this troposphere, upper layers of troposphere. That is nothing but silver iodide, potassium iodide, and dry ice. One in these three. So what happens? They will be acting as a condensation molecules. So whatever the moisture or humidity which is present in air now, so they'll go and they'll attach to that chemicals and they'll form the clouds and they will cause the rainfall. This phenomena is called as artificial rain or cloud seeding. And we can also do this cloud seeding especially in areas where we have drought. And apart from that, government is focusing on proper water management, water harvesting mechanism. For example, government came up with this Jal Jeevan mission, right? And apart from that, government is focusing on providing proper irrigation tanks. We are constructing canals, we are constructing dams, etc. Diversion of water, everything, interlinking of rivers, interlinking of canals to divert the water from high surplus areas to low surplus areas. And even government is focusing on providing certain alternatives to the people. And even we are focusing on Great Green Wall. And do you know this Aravalli region? So Aravalli region is very famous for the forest, but nowadays there is spreading of this Thar desert is happening. So because of this, our government of India came up with this Great Green Wall in this Aravalli region. So like that, government is coming up with lots of steps to control this desertification. And now we have to add this point. So now the present point is we can use the science and technology and we can use that sandy soil to use for agriculture process. And now we have to see how this sand is used for agriculture, how we can make the sandy soil more fertile soil by using technology. Is that possible? Is that possible? How can we use that sandy soil for agriculture purpose? Okay, let us see that. So this article is saying that desert solidification technology. So please make a note. Desert solidification technology. Desert solidification technology developed by researchers at Central University of Rajasthan. Central University of Rajasthan came up with one technology called as desert solidification. And you have to add this current affairs in your environment book, guys. Because we have UNCD, that is United Nations Convention on Desertification. It will take lots of steps to prevent desertification. Okay, actually, this is an innovation which transforms barren desert sand into fertile soil. We are using biotechnology here and we are converting this desert sandy soil into fertile soil, guys. So what we'll do here is, the important thing or the principle of this biotechnology is we are going to modify desert sand into agriculturally viable soil through applications of polymers. So we are taking polymers and these polymers, they will be acting as a binding agents and they will cross link this soil particles or sand particles now, that will be enhancing the structure of the soil and water retention of the soil, and even they will provide the root stability. If you keep anything in the sand, can it will be strong? No, not at all. So we need to have interlinkings or binding capacity. So we can use this biopolymers, and because of this they will enhance the structure of the soil now, and as well as they can retain the water for the long time. Which soil will retain water for the long time? Black cotton soil, right? That will be very smooth. Normally we will call it as bankamatti in Telugu. But this sand, if you mix with the sand, what happens if you keep under sand? It will be becoming very dry, very fast. There will be no water retention capacity for this sand. So if you're adding that, then we can improve the water retention. So if there is no water retention capacity in the soil, then what happens? Will the plant, if you're planting anything, so can it get the water? No. So we have to improve the water retention. Next one is root stability. So if you do all these things, obviously we can convert that desert sand into agriculturable fertile soil. That we are doing here. And actually because of this mixture, we can improve the soil microbes also, microorganisms in soil, because especially I think you might have heard about this Azotobacter, Rhizobium bacteria. They are nitrogen fixing bacteria which are helpful for especially which plants? Groundnut. Next. Pea plants. Very good, science. Okay, see. So here you have to say about different types of microorganisms in the soil, how they are helpful for the growth of this plants, because nitrogen is very important thing for the growth of the plants. If there is no nitrogen, then what happens? There is no growth. So here in some plants we have this nitrogen fixing bacteria which will be converting atmosphere nitrogen into nitrates so that it can be absorbed by the plants. So you have to see which kind of organisms, microorganisms which will be converting this atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. And next one here is that will also helpful for increasing of nutrient availability and crop resistance to environmental stress like drought and as well as salinity, etc. And if you see what is the importance, the first one is we can address this problem of environmental degradation, we can stop the spreading of deserts, and next one is we can improve soil fertility, and we can increase the production of food, we can enhance the food security, we can address hunger problem, malnutrition problem. So everything is, again, it is a big net. So obviously we can also improve our GDP which is contributed from this agriculture as well. Okay, so first one here is we can address environmental degradation problem, and even we can also reduce this irrigation needs. So especially to improve agriculture in this Rajasthan region, one important canal is a lifeline for this Rajasthan. Do you know this? That is Indira Gandhi Canal. So if you are mixing this sandy soil with this polymers, then there is no need of that much irrigation. There is no need of building dams that much. Okay, and because of this building of dams also we have negative things. It may cause disaster like earthquake. So that is called as dam induced earthquake. So we don't know like when the heavy rainfall will be there or small rainfall will be there. And if you see the Moosi, it is going like anything now if you see in Hyderabad. And even many areas, especially low-lying areas, had been subjected by this water even. Now, so it was like a big problem for me to come from my home to here actually in the morning. Okay, so and even we can address this problem of water crisis in this Rajasthan. So here whenever that soil is having good water retention capacity, it can seep the water inside the ground, and even we can improve this groundwater level as well. And this one is most of our agriculture in India, 70% of agriculture in India is rain fed. So this technology will be helpful for that. And next one here is we can boost microbial activity, water efficiency, sustainable agriculture, yield increase, and it will be a game changer for dry land farming in India. Clear? And let us see the next article, guys. See the title. Government survey on R&D in India gets weak response from private sector. So what is this article talking about? Come on. It is talking about R&D. What is R&D? Research and development. So it is talking something related to private sector. Okay, let me write the keyword. So this article is talking about research and development in India. So what we'll do in research and development? We'll be studying about the new things, advanced studies, and based on our studies and based on our interpretation, we will be developing certain technology so that it will be helpful for the betterment of the lives of our people. Right. So because of this development research only, we can get the status of developed country. And even we know that India is like largest populous country in the world, and we have lots of problems. We can get solutions for our people, yes or no? So if you're not focusing on R&D again, it will be having impact on our country at all. So actually this article is talking about funding for this R&D. So normally who are encouraging to do this R&D? So normally we have two sectors. One is government sector and second one is private sector. So this article is saying that the funding and the contribution of this private sector in this R&D is very, very low. And only mostly the government is trying to fund this R&D, and even government is actively participating in this, but there is no contribution from this R&D, from this private sector. That is one cause of concern. So why it is a cause of concern? If private is not participating, or if the private is not showing that much interest, is there any impact? Already government have lots of burden. So government is coming with infrastructure, government is providing schemes, government is providing pensions. And if there is any disaster, again government need to provide compensation like ex gratia for so and so persons who died. They will be getting 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. And next one is, if there is any war between India, Pakistan, or India, China, then again most of the defense will go there. And even India is vulnerable for different disasters. So if you go to north, landslides, mini cloudburst. And if you come to south, again flash floods, cyclones, tsunamis. And if you go to Gujarat, earthquakes. Okay, so lots of problems government is already having. So if again government wants to spend here in this R&D, is that possible? No. That is the reason. The thing which is mainly saying in this article is the private sector is contributing very less in this research and development in India. And if you compare to other countries like Japan, China, USA, in that countries private sector are investing a lot in this R&D. For example, you know about this Elon Musk, right? So Elon Musk, he had his own space agencies. Do we have that kind of things in our country? So private sector is not coming, and they are not showing much interest in this R&D, because the main reason here is they have to spend some crores in this R&D, but they don't know like when they'll get the returns, or will they get the returns or not. Also, it is a big question mark. So because of this, here private people, they are not coming forward. And remember one thing, always private people, whenever they are doing anything or any business, they will always expect profits, and that too they want immediate profits. So no one will invest in that so and so thing and wait for 10 years or 20 years or his lifetime in getting of profits. That is the reason why there is very low investment in this R&D from private sector in India. So because of this, it is having lots of impacts on the developments or technology advancements in our country. So that is the reason why even till today we are depending on other countries for getting of technology, guys. Okay, so now let me know from which subject is important. Economy, next science and technology, next impact on society. Okay, so you have to connect like this in according to your syllabus. And if you see the context, it says that Science Ministry did a survey on R&D, research and development in India. And in that survey, they got a very weak response from this private sector. So because of this, it mainly sheds the light on a persistent challenge in India. What is a challenge? Private sector investment in this innovation is very, very low. Okay, so if you see the data, it says that government is engaging in this R&D, and around 73% of funds and 73% of projects which are mainly done by this government sector in India, and only around 35% they are, that too government and private funded or government private partnership are going. So especially there is just 9% of complete private, that too multinational companies are investing in this R&D, very, very low. So what is the impact? The first one here is, it will be having impact on the policy, it will be having impact on the investment and even global competitiveness. So will India become competitive in other countries regarding technology? No, we have to depend on these other countries, and we'll be having the status developing. We'll be not achieving that status developed. Okay, next one is, can we attract more investments? So if we are doing something, so if you are showcasing that something to the world, then only other countries will come and will invest in that industries. But if we are not investing properly, then obviously we can't get that much investments, and even we can't make a proper policy. Government cannot help this private investments, right? And this one here is this public data, which mainly provides a baseline, and even now we can understand that government is having dominance in this R&D, and government has to come up with certain policies so that it has to boost this R&D from this private sector also. And say this article, guys, the turmoil in Kathmandu, the road ahead for Nepal. So what happened in this Nepal Kathmandu region? So recently, Prime Minister banned 26 social media apps. And what happened? Gen Z, that is nothing but youth, they started doing protest, because we can live without water, we can live without food also, but we can't live even 1 minute without phone in our hands. So what happened suddenly if this 26 apps, they had been banned? The important reason why these 26 apps were banned is there is a spread of misinformation like a wildfire, and even students and as well as organizations, they are using the social media for recruiting, and they started fighting or protesting against government. They want to control this spread of misinformation, so that is the reason why they banned this 26 apps. And students, they say that government is doing something wrong. So because of this, government banned these 26 apps, and they went even inside the parliament and they vandalized the things and they attacked the leaders, everything. So at that time, Prime Minister of Nepal, he imposed curfew. In that curfew, violence happened, and many students, they lost their life and many were injured. And later on, they replaced, that is nothing but they reversed this ban on this 26 apps, even though the people are not happy. And again the protests are continuing. So PM, what he did, resigned. And later on, now woman took this charge, and she was former CJI of Nepal. That is the thing. And this article is saying that we can't control this, we should not, especially in this democracy country, we have to always ensure the freedom of this speech and expression. We should not curtail this freedom and as well as dignity of life. If freedom is curtailed and if dignity is curtailed, obviously that will be a threat to democracy. So finally, the Prime Minister has to resign his post. So that is the thing he mainly said, and that's it, nothing more than that. And actually, yeah, what is the way forward for this Nepal? So if you see this last paragraph, you can understand. So they have to go for peaceful, free and fair elections on March 5th. That would be the best way forward for Nepal. Okay, or else there will be increasing of uncertainties, generating of mistrust, increasing of uncertainty, and that will lead to the democratic turmoil in this Nepal. That is the thing which mainly said, nothing more than that. So this is about what happened in this Nepal from 1990s, 2000s, like that. So there is no need of remembering that everything, Jan Andolan, when it had happened. So just see what happened in the present and just see this last paragraph, guys. That's it. So these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindi newspaper. By this, I'm concluding. And once again, I'm reminding you, from tomorrow onwards, this kind of news analysis will be not there. Just I will be recording in the laptop, and I'll try to keep my face. If not, then I can't do anything regarding that. Okay, so please do follow, like as you do follow every day. If you're missing, that means there will be no continuation. You'll be forgetting me, current affairs, everything, guys. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, and please do follow our channel on everyday basis, and please to hit the bell icon so that whenever we post the video, you'll be getting the notification, so that you will not miss any of current affairs, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class and share this class, and do subscribe to Rathod Science Academy. And you can follow us on Telegram channel, where we are providing the PDF of this news analysis, and as well as we are also posting prelims question with answer and mains question with model answer, and as well as current affairs in short in our Instagram page. The link is given in description box.